So today we had a couple of babies born this weekend, and the topic kept coming up of like how painful is childbirth, and can you really do it without an epidural? I mean, that seems to be a recurring question that we have, that we get phone calls all the time of like, well, I'm thinking about a birth center, or I'm thinking about a home birth, but everybody says I won't be able to do it without pain medication. So we want to talk a little bit about what really is going on in your body, and can you do it without an epidural? So first of all, yes, you can do it without an epidural. Most of the time, our bodies were created to have babies. That's what our bodies are designed to do, right? And it's our American culture that sort of just has us in this cycle of, I have to go to the hospital and I have to get an epidural. I'm not going to be able to do it without it. Our friends tell us, oh my gosh, you're crazy. You think you can do this without an epidural? You're going to want to get an epidural in the parking lot. You should get an epidural before, just get one when you're 40 weeks. Just go in and sign up and get your epidural. But if we look at births in other countries and other cultures, epidurals are not common. Many of you know that I do work in Haiti. They don't have epidurals. Just doesn't exist. They don't go there and sign up for pain medication. If they need surgery, they get put under general anesthesia, but they're not going in for routine pain management, and no one ever told them that they needed pain management. So these women just labor. Their mothers know they're going to labor, their sisters, their aunts, their grandmothers, everyone supports them, and they just say, this is what you do, and you manage through the birth, right? So some things we help you with here, why you're able to have an unmedicated birth when you're out of a hospital with a midwife, is because, one, throughout your prenatal care, we sort of dispel the fears of birth. And so when you do go into labor, you call us and we talk you through those early parts of the labor. We help you manage in those early parts. You're not alone. And we remind you that labor is just one muscle in your body that's contracting. Just this big giant uterus, right? It's the biggest involuntary muscle of your body, but it's only one muscle that's having a contraction. So if you think about when you go to the gym and you work your bicep muscle, or you work your quads, or you work, some other muscle group in your body, you're working it, right? You're working that muscle, and then it's fatigued. But we don't have fear around working our bicep muscle, because we know I'm contracting it. Oh, it hurts. And then I'm releasing that weight. And then, my muscle is sore. When that happens to our uterus, we sort of have some anxiety around that. One, because it's a tremendous amount of force. So it hurts. It's a lot. It's involuntary. And that's where we get stuck, is because we can't control it. I can't tell my uterus to contract, and I can't tell it to stop contracting. So when it happens to us involuntarily, our brains get really freaked out, and we start to want, because we're controlling human beings, we have a functioning brain. We want to make it stop, or make it start, or do it the way we want to do it. But if you can, what we talk about a lot prenatally is shifting, when your brain shifts to that primal cortex, right? We live every day in the frontal lobe of our brain. That's where we critically think. And that's where we make assessments throughout our day. Is this dangerous? Am I safe? Our adrenaline is functioning. Our cortisol levels are functioning. We make critical decisions all day long. When we go into labor, we have to ultimately, our brain shifts from that frontal lobe of our critical thinking, our fight and flight spot, and we have to shift to the primal cortex, which is where all animals in the animal kingdom birth from. So if you look at a dog or a cat, some kind of domestic animal, no one told them to be afraid of birth. They know exactly what to do. They just primally do it. They don't birth publicly. They don't birth in the middle of the living room during the Super Bowl while everyone is watching them. They birth privately in a separate little, usually in the closet where it's dark and where they're undisturbed. When women are given the opportunity to birth in that undisturbed environment where no one is messing with their body, and they're given the opportunity where they feel safe, You feel warm, the room is kind of dark, there's not a lot of talking, and you're supported. Your brain can shift to that primal cortex because you're not fearful of predators coming in, which is a crazy thought because we know that no one is going to eat us or kill us or eat our babies, but our brain doesn't really know that. Our primal brain doesn't know that. So when you birth in a safe environment, your hormone levels in your brain, right? Those hormone levels are working normally. So your body can just shift to that primal cortex. And then you don't have to worry about anything. And then the uterus can just do its job. Does that make sense? Where we get to in our birth brain in the United States is that birth is scary, birth is dangerous. Am I going to die? Oh my gosh, I need all these things around me to make sure that I'm safe. And then we go into an environment that's unfamiliar. Perhaps there are people that are unfamiliar around you. You have some medical staff that you've never met before. There are beeps and sounds and the room is cold and you're on a monitor and you have all these devices that are around you that we identify with danger, that we identify with being sick. So I'm describing a hospital environment. Not that hospital births are bad, right? There's a perfect place to birth for everyone. And you're going to birth in the place that you feel the most comfortable, that you feel the safest. For some women, that's a hospital. For some women, that's home. For some women, that's a birth center. And only you know, that pregnant woman, only you know intuitively where you're going to feel the safest. And once you make that determination, then you surround yourselves with people that support you and help you feel safe. So in an out-of-hospital environment, that's your midwives, right? So you choose your midwife by saying, you know, I trust this person. I know you do your homework ahead of time and you establish your team with the group of people that you feel the safest with. So that when you go into labor, all you have to do really is get out of the way. Shut off your brain. Go into that environment where you know you're safe and you don't have to worry about people coming in, where your brain can get out of that frontal lobe. And then modalities like water, aquatherapy, proven to be incredibly effective for pain management. Touch, massage, labor support, having doulas with you, massaging you, supporting you, having your midwives with you, massaging you and supporting you and keeping that room safe and warm. All of those things, when they're put in place, reduce your adrenaline, help your oxytocin increase, giving you really efficient contractions, and help to keep the fear away. Because we go into a modality called fear, tension, pain syndrome. And it looks like this. Oh, I'm having a contraction. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I want it to stop, right? You get all like freaked out and your shoulders go up to your ears and you tighten all the muscles in your body. Then your pain, I am telling you, increases exponentially, right? Versus decreasing that fear where you say, okay, so here comes the contraction and your support people are around you. You know that it's okay to have one. And we say, it's okay, it's just your uterus working. So you go, oh no, I'm having one. And we say, that's okay. Take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Let your thighs go. Open your hands. It's just one muscle of your body working. Okay, how was that one? And then usually the moms go, oh my gosh, it was so much better. Right, because you release all that fear. So when you have that fear and all those other muscles, they all ball up and all those muscles are working and they're inhibiting that uterus, right? So now the uterus has to exert that much more pressure and tension to get that cervix to open. Whereas if we just get out of the way, let it go, you're okay. You're not going to die, right? That was a topic that came up. I think one of our birth stories, the mom said she kept thinking she was going to die and she would look at me and it didn't look to me like she was going to die. So she was checking with me thinking, okay, Renee doesn't look like I'm dying, so I must not be dying. You're not going to die. But when you let go of all the fear, the pain decreases. I'm not saying the pain is necessarily going to go away, right? The uterus has to contract and it's a big, giant event and it demands 100% of your attention. If it didn't, we'd be having our babies on the sidewalk, right? We'd be going to work going, oh, oops, I think a baby's coming out, right? And that's not so great for the baby. So the labor, we're designed for it to be big and it to be the most important thing at that moment, more important than anything else in your life at that moment. It has to demand that attention from you so that you can get yourself to a safe environment and you can birth your baby in a safe place, right? So there's a reason why it's powerful. We need to pay attention to it, but we don't have to be afraid of it. Your body is meant to open. The uterus is meant to contract. The cervix is meant to open. That baby's meant to come through your pelvis. The baby's head will mold and your bones will open. It's what we do. Our job as your care providers are to help educate you and support you and get you to the place where you know it's okay. And then the baby comes out and immediately you go right back into your frontal lobe of your brain and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that's over. Wow, I did it. I did it. I did this thing that I thought was so hard and I thought I was going to die and I didn't die and I have this baby, and you're right back into your body and right back into your critical thinking brain, and it's over. It's not 100% over. You're not, we're going to rub your uterus after, and that is a total drag and really hurts, not as much as a baby. Then we're going to be looking at your perineum, and we might have to stick a needle in there and give you some lidocaine and suture your bottom, and nobody wants to be touched after the baby's born, but you're no longer in that labor. You did it, and you can do it, and you deserve the opportunity to do it. You deserve the information to make a decision whether you want to do it or not. You don't have to do it. It's up to you if you want to do it. But you deserve the opportunity, and you deserve the option of informed decision making to say, I know I can do this if I wanted. I don't want to do it. I want to get an epidural. Right on, go get an epidural. I want to have a scheduled C-section for whatever reason that might be. I know why I'm doing it. I looked at the risk and the benefit, and I'm choosing this choice. Right on, we support that. But we really want you to know that you have choices, and it's your body, right? You get to choose what's right for your body, and you deserve the opportunity to know what all of these choices are in front of you, and you deserve the support. So you can do it. We did it a couple of times this weekend, and the moms did it. And at the end of the day, they're holding their babies and they're really happy they did it. They thought they couldn't, and they came through it. You need support. And remember that your body is made to do this. It's what we're designed to do from the beginning of time.